Hey everybody, I hope you're all well. I wanted to give you another update, tell you what's going on currently, and also to address the concerns and conversations about my teeth. A lot of people are speculating, a lot of people are making assumptions, a lot of people are jumping to conclusions without any evidence. So I want to clear all that up as a child scratches and knocks on my studio door. Or maybe it's another vampire trying to get in. All right, so I'll tell you what I'm doing right now, why I did this, where I'm going, what's been done. It's been a week since my surgery, and when I say surgery, what I had done is I had all 4 of my front teeth removed, and then I had what they call a plasma-rich and growth factors, PRGF, put into my jawbone, and actually make that from my own blood. It's amazing what you can do in 2014. Basically, they took my blood, they spun it, they pulled out the proteins that are responsible for wound healing, for bone growth and whatnot. They got some stem cells and whatever else in there in addition to these proteins. They inject that into the site, and that helps my jawbone repair itself, and it also helps with the wound healing. And then they had to install 2 implants into the incisors on the side of my front teeth. So I have 2 titanium implants in my jawbone now. And some of you are probably going to freak out because I have metal in my body. I weighed out zirconium versus titanium. I looked at the whole breakdown of everything, and I'm okay with the titanium in there. Yeah, maybe there's a risk, but I'm willing to take it. It's going to be a more durable product. It's a little bit less expensive, and the downsides are pretty minimal. So I have 2 titanium posts in there, which eventually, in about 6 to 7 months, I will have abutments and then crowns attached to those implants. So right now, it's all sutured shut. So those implants are underneath sutures. Isn't that sexy? And then in 6 to 7 months, I will have permanent crowns placed onto abutments. So in the meantime, I'm going to be spending a lot of time with no teeth, and they give me what they call a flipper, which has 4 fake teeth on it, and it's a plate that goes up against the palate of your mouth. It's really uncomfortable, and it's hard to speak with. I have a hard time speaking without teeth. V and F and TH and SH are difficult to say when they're in a word. So that's going to be a challenge, especially as I give talks. But the flipper makes me whistle whenever I say S. So we shall see how that goes. But this is going to be a long process, and I'm totally cool with it. I'm just embracing it, surrendering to it, and this is the reality that I have to deal with now. And if I fight it, break down about it, it's not going to help me. It's actually going to make my healing process worse. It's going to slow down healing, and it's going to make me miserable and depressed in the most depressing time of the year, isolated from the rest of the world here in Vermont. So I'm choosing to be positive. I'm choosing to just embrace what I got, have a little fun with it. I was walking around Home Depot last night like this, pretending to be a vampire. People were staring at me. I was walking around like, gotta have some fun with it, right? Anyway, why did this happen? Well, I've done a lot of research and talked to a lot of dentists. And here's the conclusion that I have come to. Doesn't mean it's 100% the answer, but based on all the research and conversations I've had, that's what it looks like. Number 1, my genetics for dental health are not that great. My dad's side of the family, just about everybody had false teeth. My mom's side of the family, really good teeth. Even my grandmother, who's almost 101 now, she's only had a couple teeth pulled. She has most of her teeth in. So I got my dad's side of the teeth, so even as a child I had tons of cavities. Most of my teeth were drilled and filled up to probably the age 8. By the time I was 8 years old, most of my teeth had fillings in them. The mercury fillings, which over the course of the past 15 years I've had removed. So I started out that way. And then just never had good dental hygiene, especially as I got older, dealing with depression. Those of you who've ever experienced depression know that one of the challenges is taking care of yourself. Showering, brushing your teeth, eating at certain times, even getting out of the house or getting out of bed. I dealt with this for decades, most of my adult life. And my teeth were often the last thing that I would take care of. So I take full responsibility for that. But as I got into my 30s and then started running raw, which it's been 10 years now, by the way. November is 10 years ago that I started a raw diet. It's pretty amazing how much time has passed, and it's almost a quarter of my life that I've been doing this now. Anyway, when I started running raw and eating better and really taking care of myself, my depression was significantly reduced, and I started taking better care of my teeth, and that's when I started going back to the dentist and having things fixed and had crowns put in, and it's been a long road back to a healthy mouth. But my dental hygiene now is really, it's better than my workout regime. I take really, really good care of my teeth. Floss a couple times a day, brush a couple times a day, rinse with salt water, rinse with xylitol. So why was I still getting cavities? My dentists were saying, well, it's got to be your diet. And I've always come from the perspective that it was about the nutrients that you were getting in the diet that was important. Like, I'm getting the nutrients, so clearly it can't be my diet. And that was my argument. But what I've come to learn is that eating lots of fruit throughout the day is a bad idea. And it's not because of the sugar. It's the fact that you're eating throughout the day. I nibble throughout the day. It's not like I have a big breakfast, wait 4 hours, have a big lunch, wait 4 hours, have a big dinner, maybe a snack, and then go to bed, which is what a lot of people do. But I would just eat all day long, never stop. And what happens is that you don't allow your saliva to remineralize your teeth after meals, because your saliva helps to remineralize the teeth. That's one of the things that it does. But if you're eating all day long, that can't happen. You need about 3 to 4 hours for the saliva to fully do its job. So if you're nibbling all day long, you're putting your teeth in a continually compromised state. And I think this is one of the reasons that a lot of fruitarians have challenges with their teeth. Not that I'm a fruitarian, but high fruit eaters. 80-10-10, whatever you want to call it. But that's something that really needs to be talked about and addressed. This constant eating of food throughout the day. Not a good idea. So I'm shifting to bigger meals, which is a problem because I don't like eating a lot of food all at once. It shuts me down. It triggers depression. If I smash it down and fill my gut with a giant smoothie or a giant anything, I feel like crap, and it totally puts me into a depressive state that I have to really struggle to get out of. So I'm figuring out ways to work that into my lifestyle. So I'm fooling around with rinsing right after meals with baking soda or salt or a combination of both, just to swish it around, change the pH, neutralize any acidity from the fruit, get the sugars moved out of my mouth so that the saliva doesn't have as much work to do. But that's not where it ends. As I was talking to all these dentists, they're looking at my mouth and they're like, dude, your teeth are decaying way too rapidly. There's something else going on. So I started doing some more research. And I came across a study from last year that looked at endurance athletes and dental health. And what they found was startling. And this is really important to talk about. When you're training, your saliva changes. Not just during training, but for the rest of the day. The more you train, the greater the effect is. Your saliva neutralizes acids in the mouth normally. It has a certain pH. And it's full of certain minerals that help to remineralize the teeth. So the saliva has exactly what the teeth need, and at a certain pH, so that the teeth can become remineralized. But endurance athletes change their amount of saliva, they reduce the amount of saliva they have, they change the pH of their saliva, and they change the mineral component of their saliva. So even after the training has stopped, they will have less saliva, a saliva with a different pH, and the mineral components necessary to remineralize the teeth are not even there, or they're there in a much smaller quantity. So what happens is you go out for a 2-3 hour run, 4-hour bike ride, whatever it might be, and you're pounding the carbs, right? You're out there, eating your dates or your Lara bars or your smoothie or your banana or whatever it might be, and you think it's all good, but your saliva is less protective while you're training. And you're for 2 or 3, 4 hours, you're consuming this food, your saliva can't protect you, bacteria can proliferate in this altered environment, and then you get home and maybe you don't brush your teeth right away. So now it's a couple more hours before you brush your teeth, and maybe you have some more food, and your saliva is still in a compromised, altered state. So by the time you finally do brush your teeth, there's a lot of damage that's taken place. And then after you brush your teeth, your saliva are still not helping to remineralize your teeth, which is normally one of the things that happens while you sleep. But for endurance athletes, this isn't happening. So your teeth continue to erode. And I know a lot of endurance athletes, a lot of my good friends, who are having some serious dental issues. And I'm wondering if this is the cause. So I want to look to see if there's any more data on this, if any more studies have been done. But it's something that, as an athlete, you really need to take into consideration. So what I'm going to do once I start getting back into training, once I get over this injury, is to maybe bring a baking soda rinse with me on my runs that I can swish around to neutralize the pH while I'm out there. It's not going to help me remineralize my teeth. So that's something else I'm going to have to think about, how to get those minerals into my saliva, into my mouth after training or during training. Okay? So that's the teeth conversation, and I'll check in a little bit later about some other stuff that's going on in my life, a lot of big changes, a lot of cool stuff. And I hope you're well, and I love you, and I'll talk with you soon. Bye.